So you need to know about this 401k rule that's coming into place next year, because it could definitely, probably should definitely change the way you manage your plan next year and keep track of your employees. Secure 1.0, December of 2019, that introduced the concept of long-term part-time employees, all right? A long-term part-time employee, very simply, this is the real simple answer, is an employee who is otherwise not eligible for your plan, has worked at least 500 hours for you during 21, 22, and 23. That's at least 500 hours during each year. They are then eligible to defer in the plan in 2024. That's how we understood Secure 1.0. Then Secure 2.0 came along for 2025. That reduced the number of years you need 500 hours 2 years in a row to 2. So that means for 2025, it's 2003 and 2004 is when we look at. Who is a long-term part-time employee? It is an employee over the age of 21, somebody who has worked over 500 hours a year for between 21, 22, and 23, who is not a long-term part-time employee. This is really important. The neighbor's dog is not a long-term part-time employee. A long-term part-time employee is not someone who's in the plan because you don't have an hours or a waiting requirement. Okay? And this is going to become important because if somebody is a long-term part-time employee, you don't have to do certain things. All right? So if you have a plan where somebody has to wait 12 months of service, has to work over 1,000 hours a year, okay, to get in the plan, all right, but you have some long-term part-time employees come in, you don't have to give those LTPTEs an employer contribution. But if you have a plan that has a 1-month wait with no hours, okay, they're in the plan. They're not LTPTEs, okay? So they have to be included in testing, they have to be included in top-living minimum calculations and contributions, and safe harbor matches, and a whole bunch of stuff.
Will all plans be required to count hours?
Yes, there is no small plan minimum, okay, or exclusion, all right? Even if you have one employee, you are subject to the long-term part-time employee rules. That means if you think you have an owner-only plan, an owner-only 401k plan, and you have a part-time employee working 600 hours a year, guess what? They're a long-term part-time employee.
How is the initial 12-month period measured?
The way I understood this and the way it was explained to me was, because we have calendar year plans, I was thinking 500 hours in 2021, 500 hours in 2022, and 500 hours in 2023. That's not how the rules work, okay? Most plans shift the eligibility counting period from the first 12 months to the plan year, all right? So what this means is the first time the date of an employee's hire, did they work 500 hours during their first 12 months? You keep track of that time frame. Then
is that the first 365 days?
Yes. Right? Then first 12 months, okay, 365 days, did they work 500 hours or more during that first 12 months? That's a yes/no question. If it's yes, that's one long-term part-time employee year of service. I don't know what else to call it, okay? Then for the second year, you look at 500 hours during the calendar year, the plan year. So if you guys are screaming at the television right now or banging on your phone saying that means some hours are being counted twice, you are following along the logic, okay? That is exactly true.
What if an LTPT employee subsequently works less than 500 hours in a 12-month period? Will they cease to be eligible to make elective deferrals contributions?
No. Once you get to defer,
What?
you get to defer.
What?
No. Once you get to defer, you get to defer.
Once you're in the pool, you're there.
Yeah.
Can you exclude some people?
Yes. If the people that are being excluded were a class of employees that were already being excluded from the plan.
Oh, prior.
So
Prior
like I said,
shenanigans.
if we had a plan set up where our Spokane-based employees were excluded from both our retirement plans, that would be legal. It's less than 30% of our non-highly compensated employee workforce. That's legal. Okay, so we could, Spokane people, you know, you're always used as an example. We love you. You're staying in the plan. That's not the point. Okay, but
if we wanted to,
we could, based on head count. Okay, so based on head count, we could. Next section, vesting and testing. All right, let's see if we can cover this in less than 8 hours. Are there special vesting rules for long-term part-time employees?
There has to be.
In the olden days, which is last week, most plans need 1,000 hours per plan year to get a year of service for vesting. That still holds true. But
the most important part is always after about.
oh yeah, long-term part-time employees get a year of service for every year they work over 500 hours. So if somebody is a long-term part-time employee for 6 years and then goes full-time, they're 100% vested because they have 6 years of vesting service. Okay?
It's magic.
Oh yeah. So now some good news. You can set up a plan so that all long-term part-time employees are excluded from all non-discrimination and coverage testing, top-heavy testing, or top-heavy allocations, and non-discrimination testing. Okay.
So you're going to build a corral around them.
You kinda.
Are employers required to include PT employees when determining whether a plan is required to perform an annual audit? Actually, this is an important question.
Yes.
In connection with the Form 5500 filing. Woo!
Yes.
There's so many people in
Of
the
course
pool now.
Now, then, what's really important about this is they have changed the rules as to how we count participants for the audit. Okay? For next year, we only count participants with an account balance on the first day of the plan year, which is in most cases January 1st. How many long-time part-time employees who first become eligible January 1st are going to have an account balance on January 1st?
Well, since it's a day that's closed and no one's doing payroll on that day, 0.
Right, probably in all likelihood 0. It's going to be
very
really hard for a long-term part-time
Very
employee
hard.
to have an account balance on January 1st. But, so for 2024, even though they're going to be eligible during 24, they're not going to count towards whether or not the plan needs an audit. If they have an account balance January 1st of 2025, they will for 2025. Whether or not long-term part-time employees are subject to auto-enrollment and auto-escalate, I don't know. That's a really good, I thought I saw something about that. It's not in the summary I've got right now. We'll have to try to get back to you on that. But you have to remember that somebody who is a long-term part-time employee, all right, you don't have to include them in testing, you don't have to include them in coverage testing, you don't have to give them an employer contribution. They get to defer, okay? If you have everybody who's been with you a month in the plan, they're subject to all that other stuff. You don't get to exclude them. Okay, so in conclusion, it's even more important now for employers to keep track of the hours an employee works, okay, each year, especially if they think they were never going to enter the plan because they were only there a couple hours a week or whatever, all right? That person may very well be a long-term part-time employee.
Christopher,
What?
it's going too long.
No, it's not. Whose fault is that?
People just want to keep track of the numbers to give you.
What numbers?
How much their employees work, how many hours.
There we go. That's the key word.
Track of hours.
Okay. Fun stuff. Hope you enjoyed the ride with us. We're looking forward to it.
Call
We've
Christopher,
got
but don't
bourbon.
contact him through Reddit. It's
Yeah,
better
no,
just
don't
to
find
call.
me on Reddit.
Call,
all right.
call.
Sales@hunterbenefits.com is one of your best portals. And obviously, like, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the video. We're looking forward to hearing back from you. We'd love to continue this conversation. And my glass is empty, but take care.
Toodaloo.